Can I talk? Yeah. This is Courtney Cheatham and
Rustin Hitchcock.
live from Southern New Hampshire University, featuring our 2 vs. 3 opening game, Londonderry Lancers versus the Central Little Green. So far, starting for Central, we have point guard number 10, sophomore Sarah Swetland. For Londonderry, we have shooting guard number 21, Kelsey Coffey. Also for Central, sophomore number 5, Jenna Chabrolowski. For Londonderry, we have number 15, Kate Balcom. For Central, senior number 24, Caitlin Vincent. Londonderry guard number 14, Jackie Luckert. For Central, a senior, number 54, Mary Soares. And rounding out the Londonderry starting lineup, oh, just kidding, number 33, Tara Burke. And for Central, a senior, number 33, Natasha Velez. And for Londonderry, senior, number 31, Brittany Roche. Londonderry playing tonight, missing their go-to forward, Ashley Berube. It's going to be interesting. Central has a ton of size, and usually so does Londonderry. Austin, how do you think the moving to the college-sized court is going to affect the play today in this matchup?
It's the same thing I saw as a coach up in Alaska. We moved to the bigger court. The girls get a little bit winded. And the spacing is definitely different for the plays, and offensive tempo gets adjusted. It's just whoever can deal with it better. We'll see. They're both at the same disadvantage, and should be a good game.
You never know. It could be an advantage.
Ooh, hey now.
I wonder if the fitness factor kind of plays a little bit of a factor, considering the increased size as well as the increased heat with the number of players, fans, etc. I think that's inevitably going to affect both squads equally. On the opening tip, we have Velez winning the tip, going to Goudreau. Londonderry looks like they're starting a little 1-2-2. This is standard defense for them, but they do extend it out. Central has talented guards who are able to break through. Pass the ball nicely, Chabrolowski. This is Sarah Swetland at the top. Very quick, speedy point guard who distributes the ball well. There's Chabrolowski in the corner. She can hit that jumper, starting off with the basket. That's a good way to start the game, making your first shot, especially if it's a long-range jumper.
Absolutely, and they didn't take the first couple looks. That could have been a little rush. They decided to move the ball around.
There's Luckert dishing it off to Burke, who's unable to convert. Central slowing the ball down. Central running what looks like an overload, hitting the high post. Soares from the foul line, and she's good. That's 2 for 2 to start the game for Central, both outside jumpers. You got to imagine in that zone, uncontested jump shots have a higher chance of going in. That's a long-range jumper by Roach. It's an air ball. We're going to get an offensive foul call, I believe, against number 33, Tara Burke. Roach is usually really good from long range. She looks like she hesitated a little bit on that, and sometimes that can affect the ability to keep all your legs underneath the shot.
And you don't usually see that dislodging call in the box out, but there's definitely displacement happening down low.
Goes back to our points a couple days ago about the 3-man reffing crew, and is that going to mean an increase in the foul calls? Londonderry pushing the ball. Londonderry looks to score a ton of points in transition. That's a turnover. So that's 3 times down and 0 conversions for Londonderry. And 2 times down and 2 conversions for Central. Shabrolowski bring the ball up. All three of these guards on Central have the ability to bring the ball. Swords into the post to Velez. That's where that post-to-post is just hard to defend. Shabrolowski gets a hand on it, who then has Velez on the offensive board. That's going to be a jump ball going to Londonderry.
Well, Central has that rare size that can actually compete with Londonderry's size. Not much teams around the state actually have that same advantage to their side.
And as I mentioned before, Londonderry is a big team, but playing without their junior center, Ashley Berube. There's Brittany Roche on the 2-footer. Shabrolowski to Goudreau, who passes to Swetlin. There's Shabrolowski again. That's a shot she hurt earlier in the game, but chooses to reverse it. Central really doing a decent job moving the ball. Goudreau's a good three-point shooter, and she's able to make that. We got Luckhart bringing the ball up. This is Coffey. She's also deadly from long range. Londonderry also spreading the ball out here, but Central's in a man-to-man. That's going to be a hand check call on the floor. How do you feel about the new hand check rule here, the point of emphasis on the hand check rule here in New Hampshire basketball this year?
I feel that there is a purpose to it. However, I feel like sometimes it gets interpreted as any type of hand whatsoever. And if it doesn't affect the play, I don't feel like it should actually be a violation. But so many times, even off ball, we see sometimes, and that's not the nature of the rule, but some refs interpret it that way, where you put a hand on the body and immediately it's called.
Central bringing the ball up. Central unable to really push the ball, so I think they're just looking to slow down the game. That's going to be Central basketball. Athletic play by Balcom to try to get that ball to go off of Shabrolowski, but already out of bounds before she was able to do that. She is one athletic player. Here she's also a soccer player, if I remember correctly. And you can see just that athleticism. I can't imagine what it looks like on a soccer field. There's Coffey on the drive. That looked like a potential charge call, but I like the no call. Hard to make a decision on that one, so let's just go with the no call.
And at times, that's always the best call, is a no call.
Looks like they are letting the kids play. 2 fouls here in the first 3 minutes. Luckhart into Roach. She can hit that. Little pick and roll action back to Roach on the wing, who drives this time. Tries to get it out, but Swetlin able to get the steal. Goudreau with the turnover. Steal by Roach. Coffey bringing it up. Nice give and go. Rebound Londonderry. Another rebound Londonderry. Londonderry unable to convert from about 3 shots from short range.
And you can tell they definitely aren't used to having that size competition down low.
Londonderry staying in the 1-2-2.
They do a good job of always being responsible for a man. Even though they're in a zone, everybody knows who they have at any given point in time.
Shabrolowski to Soares, who travels, looking to get the post-to-post game. And this is just one of Central's strengths. They pull 2 6-footers off the floor to just add 2 more. In the freshman, Angelique, and the junior, Amanda Goudreau.
And this is the more dynamic shot blocking group. Angelique alone had 12 blocks in their first game of the season.
Yeah, you can see right there, she goes for the block, but does come down, and they're going to call her for the foul. That's going to get her in foul trouble early. If she does go for the block and he's watching for it, that's going to be a tough night for her potentially.
Yeah, that free swinging nature is often easily called by the officials.
Londonderry able to convert on their first free throw of the game. That's Luckhart. That's her second. And again, Central putting in 2 more players. So far, in 4 minutes and 39 seconds, they have now used 9 players.
It could be an adjustment to the big size court, trying to keep his players fresh, but having that depth of rotation too would have faith in doing so.
This is something I've seen him do in multiple games this year. He does kind of like a set rotation where he rotates 2 guards in and 2 forwards in, and they're kind of switching positions. And it doesn't really decrease any of their ability while they're there.
And that could be a routine thing for the players too, getting in that groove, knowing I'm going to play X amount of minutes at this point in time, having that confidence, knowing what level of energy they can exert, rest, and come back in.
Got Central. We see a little pressure here from Londonderry. Looks like a 1-2-2 zone trap. And nice try by Luckert, but it's going to be Central ball. This is where not having size in the game for Londonderry is actually going to be a good thing, because they're going to be able to extend their pressure, use their athleticism, try to get some traps, and see if we can get some easy turnovers. And there's Luckert again, tipping the ball, and then actually comes up with the steal this time. So for Londonderry on the floor now, we have a substitution. We have number 20. That's Noelle Lambert, senior. Got Balcom on the top, Kelsey Coffey on the wing. And looks like Noelle Lambert, although 5'8", is going to fill in here as a post player. And there's Tara Burke going in the rim, and we're going to have another Central foul. That's going to be on number 22, Amanda Goudreau.
Yeah, while their fouls are spread out, there's definitely a pattern developing where they're not being disciplined enough to stay low on those post fakes and getting out of position, and that's when those fouls are getting called.
Burke unable to convert on the first. You know, if she makes this, it allows Londonderry to get in their full court pressure. Big difference between a miss and a make here. Unable, and there's a rebound, and then a foul by number 20. We got Roach coming back in the game for Burke. Remember, Londonderry was in the title game and winning a championship last year against Bedford. They know what it's like to play here. A lot of these kids, sophomores, juniors, they were in this game and had some key plays. There's Roach with a steal. That's her second steal in the back of that press. There's Luckert to Roach for a step back. That's no good. We have a rebound by Central, number 11, Devin LaCroix. And Central looking to push a little bit, but then then Goudreau's gonna pull it out. Central does sometimes go to this pick and roll offense. I can see why even against the zone, it might be a decent choice to try to get some wing shots for these guards. Especially with the Londonderry extended pressure at the top. Can pick and roll actually a little bit about to the foul line, not a standard pick and roll where it would go all the way to the basket. There's LaCroix in the corner, pass to Goudreau, and she gets a soft touch on the fadeaway.
That's their first basket in the paint against that 3-2 or 1-2-2 pressure.
I have to say, although Londonderry is the more experienced team, in this first quarter here, Central looks very calm and collected on the offensive end. The only thing that's really gotten in the way is Londonderry's pressure. This is a Londonderry team who can explode for points. There's Coffey on the 2. And usually it's coming off of their pressure and then transition to fast break. Goudreau pulls it up. That's going to be a travel. I agree. That's that call that we weren't seeing the other day when the girls are coming to a jump stop on a 1-2 step and moving both feet instead of keeping one plant foot. I think that's a good call by the referee here.
Yeah, and I like it when they call, even though it's not necessarily giving them an advantage, it's still being called because there needs to be some consistency developed with that call.
Londonderry, we have a new guard in. This is number 3, Jenna Conroy. She's also a senior. Londonderry moving the ball well. Looks like a read and react offense. That's going to be on the floor. Central doing a decent job down low, moving their feet, not getting these offensive foul calls. Instead, Londonderry's getting to the free throw line. you know, if that's the case, Central really needs to make the adjustment and not get the foul call. Roach converts the first.
Yeah, I wonder how long they're going to stay into that man half-court defense, because they're starting to find the gaps in it a little bit. Maybe just throw something to give them a different look. But
credit to Londonderry for sticking with this here and really trying to keep going to the basket, because that's where they've had most of their luck on the offensive end. Although I know that they're powerful outside shooters, most of their luck has been coming when they're going to the free throw line after getting to the rim. We're going to have a reach on Kelsey Coffey, and that's going to be Sweatland. That's where her speed, she just exploded by. As a sophomore, I'm not necessarily surprised that's a miss on the layup. Look, as she's a junior and senior, I expect that will probably be an and one. This is Central's first free throws.
yeah, when you get to the big stage for the first or second time, there's definitely jitters to be worked out.
I also think her size, she needs to learn how to kind of nudge her way in there and then finish. But gosh, she's got great speed, nice touch. It's going to be an offensive rebound for Central. Shannon Richards. That's Goudreau, and she's able to make it. Wow, Central really shooting well in this first quarter. That's going to be a three-pointer. That's her second three attempt and second conversion on the three. That's a little pick and roll. Nice pass. Conroy unable to convert. Nice pass by Coffey to feed that in. We've got LaCroix pushing the ball up, finding Goudreau again. Let's see if she can hit it from the other side. That time is an air ball, but another offensive rebound for Sweatland, who then makes the basket. That's 15 first quarter points so far. 2 seconds on the clock. Launched by Londonderry, and that's a good first quarter from Central. 15-8, playing 9 players. Little bit of foul trouble.
And to extend it after Londonderry came within 1 in that last minute. That's very impressive to stay with it and keep their sense about them.
What are your overall impressions of the first quarter?
I continue to talk about the battles down low on both sides. It's really interesting to see how Londonderry is able to sniff those cuts out really quickly because they are aware of the man in the zone. And on the other side, it's going to be Central's defense, whether or not they're actually playing clean or not. Because if even there's a 4-man rotation in the post, that could get into trouble foul-wise.
Absolutely. I would like to see Londonderry stay in this press, but with the extended court, the zone pressure is going to have a less of an impact than normal. So I think, you know, going to it every once in a while will be a good thing. I also think with a couple of injured players on that Londonderry bench, you have to be careful with how much you're asking these guys to run.
Yeah, especially if they're doing that man press that it looked like for a little bit near the end of the quarter. That can get you in trouble real quick if you stay with it.
It's kind of like a little bit of a run and jump. There's how the pressure, though, causes LaCroix to make a turnover. LaCroix is also a soccer player who I think basketball was her second sport, but she fits right in with the Central crew. I look for Londonderry to continue to try to work the ball into the post. We have Burke in the lineup here. There's a jump shot, and that's good. That's Catherine Wells of Londonderry getting her first couple minutes here and making them useful by coming in and getting her first bucket. There's Sweatland, and she turns it over. It's a good hustle by Londonderry. It's going to be a jump ball, Londonderry ball. So 2 turnovers on 2 possessions for Central, and 1 basket and 1 possession for Londonderry. You even see Roach posting up now, who's actually an outside shooter, but I think just trying to work that ball into the post like we had anticipated.
We're seeing Central double the post down almost every single time on entry, but they're smart posts for Londonderry, and they're recognizing that double.
That's a nice take by Catherine Wells. She's 2 for 2, and she just went by, I think, about 3 Central players and then had to score against the other 2, so it was almost like 1 on 5, but able to come up with it. And another Londonderry turnover. So 3 possessions and 3 turnovers for for Central. And a shot, she's feeling it right now. That's Wells, she misses her first shot of the game. And a rebound by Sydney Richards, and then Wells on the foul.
Looks like she wasn't even ripping the ball, more so hugging it ferociously.
And we're gonna have 4 new players in for Central. We've got Soares, Velez, Shabrolowski, and Vincent. And we're gonna leave LaCroix on the floor. And for Londonderry, we have 2 substitutions. Vincent looking to find somebody, but that Londonderry pressure. But ball's gonna go back to Central, this time on the end line.
Central's starting to explore going deep a little bit, releasing some people. We'll see if that continues, and maybe they can actually hit one.
Shabrolowski, also a multi-sport athlete at Central High. I believe she's a softball star, I hear. Vincent is gonna inbound the ball again. This is 3 times in about 15 seconds here. LaCroix finds Velez, back to LaCroix. Soares setting a pick. Central does like to run this pick and roll kind of spread offense. It's had some success with those post players rolling down the lane, but Londonderry has done a decent job defensively against it so far. Central just converting a lot of outside shots and getting some offensive boards. There's Soares on the top. Gives it back to LaCroix. Patience is really benefiting the Little Green offense. There's a screen and roll, but no one to pass to. Velez on the top. Vincent on the drive. Good hesitation. Goes to the bucket and makes it. That's a nice job by Kaylin Vincent.
We got 2 players tripped up.
Luckert. Nice block by Velez. That was a good cut by Brittany Roach. That's what Londonderry loves to do. They love to push the ball up the floor, hit cutters, hit the backside cut a lot, but you haven't seen them able to do that so much in this game. They're gonna wave off Roach's 3 on a Central foul on number 33. That's on Velez. That's gonna be her second. That's actually going to be Velez's first. Londonderry inbounding the ball to Noelle Lambert, who gives it to Luckert, who pulls up for the jump shot. That's no good. Looks like she might have got hit in the arm, but no call. Here's that man-to-man that ends up turns into about a run and jump. Put Swetlin back in. She's able to break through it. Interesting that Central runs their post players at the high post, takes away some of the inside advantage, tries to hit them rolling down the lane rather than in the low block.
Right, with that flare-out dribble. However, just with that size and those arms, it's not been too successful recently.
Londonderry moving the ball very well, but still not getting any easy looks. Credit to Central's defense. We've got Coffey checking back in the game for Tara Burke. Londonderry looking to hit the roll. There's Brittany Roach in the soft touch. She's been big at SNU multiple times in her career, hitting a big shot 2 years ago, hitting the game winner last year. There's Vincent, unable to hit the long 3, but Shabrolowski on the weak side of rebound. I'd like to see Londonderry pick up their defensive rebounding a little bit, but on these long shots, hard to anticipate that long rebound. There's Swetlin on the hesitation, and she's able to make it.
Well, it seems like Central's offensive rebounding is actually coming from their 1 through 3 players, coming from that perimeter to anticipate backside rebounds on long shots.
That's a great point. There's Roach from the corner. Good rotation, but unable to convert. We have Luckert on the rebound, who feeds it out to Conroy. Excuse me, that's Noelle Lambert. Velez from the top. She does a nice hesitation and drive, but unable to make the lay-in. That's a good hustle by Lambert. I have to tell you, I'm impressed with the effort of Noelle Lambert in this game. I'm seeing her on the offensive end kind of get involved. Just scored a bucket, gets back on defense, hustle play.
It looks like she's spearheading that press as well. When
Absolutely. Not sure what the call was on that, but it's going to be Londonderry basketball. I believe they called a jump. It was an offensive rebound that turned into a jump ball.
Well, it looks like we have two discrepancies with the scoreboard and then the possession arrow pointing different ways. So that could have been confusion by the refs as well.
There's Goudreau, unable to hit. It's going to be an over-the-back call against Mary Soares. I got some clarification on the over-the-back call. You can make contact with the person who's boxing you out if you jump straight up, but if you put your hand on their back or you come over the top and make physical contact, they are not going to allow that to go. The player who's boxing you out also has to make sure that they're making physical contact.
Right, and I think it's a bit of a misnomer on the call because everyone says over the back, but you could theoretically reach 100 feet over the person, and as long as there's no contact, it's not a violation. So it should be more on the back, but alas.
That's a missed free throw by Conroy, or excuse me, by Balcom. Londonderry is switching up their press every once in a while. Kind of giving a couple different looks. One, they deny it in, kind of like a man-to-man run and jump. One, they do this diamond and one. We got Tara Burke coming in here for Roach. Londonderry really only going 2 deep in their bench, where Central's gone 4 deep. Inbound the ball to Goudreau, gives it to Shabrowski. Break through it nicely. Finds Sweatland on the hesitation. That's going to be a block by Burke.
That's been a deadly weapon, her hesitation. 3 times now, having either getting to the rim or drawing a foul.
She's low, she's quick. If she keeps her head up and makes that move, it's hard for a post player to be defending that. I like the vision by indecision. Vision and decision, there you go. By
nice.
Sweatland to hesitate and go by. Misses that one. Free throws really not much of a factor, as Central's only shot 7 and Londonderry's only shot 7 and made 4, and Central's only shot 3. There's Burke. It's going to be an offensive foul call. That's the 3rd time that Central's tried to take that, and finally getting one to go their way. It's going to be Burke's 3rd foul. That's going to be huge for Central if they could work the low post. But as we saw, that's not really the game they like to play. They use their post players, but not so much in the low block.
No, they only have one back to the basket. So it's more of a slashing and rolling type offense.
There's Vincent. She misses. That's going to be another offensive rebound. Shabrowski tips her own rebound, but unable to get it. We've got Coffey pushing the ball up, looking up the floor, but not finding anybody. That ball's tipped by Central. It's going to be Londonderry basketball. Looks like the Central fans arguing that, but I think it was very clearly off the Central player.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
Central going sort of a matchup zone, man-to-man on the out of bounds there. There's Coffey. Remember, you don't want to give her much space because she can hit that, and she does.
That brings it to a tie game, 19-19 with 2:25 left.
You know, for a game that seems to be dominated so far by Central, Londonderry tying it up on that shot. This quarter, Central's offense looks like it needs to go a little more inside instead of, there's Coffey on a miss. Instead of all these pull-up jump shots, they're shooting in transition. I liked when they were pulling it out and kind of working the ball and getting a better look. We had a quick shot by Vincent, a quick shot by Shabrowski, and now a quick shot after one pass by Goudreau. It's going to be out of bounds off Central, Londonderry basketball. We got Luckert on the floor. So on the floor for Londonderry, we have junior Jacqueline Luckert, sophomore Kelsey Coffey, senior Noelle Lambert, junior Jackie Luckert, and junior Kate Balcom. A lot of juniors. And here's Luckert going to the line. She'll shoot 2. Both teams in the single bonus, but that was a shooting foul.
Looks like they reported a number that's not on the court. We'll have to figure out who got the foul call.
So we have some controversy over the foul call. Referee clarifying. And the honesty by Central to, or maybe want it, selfishness, who knows,
right,
to throw their teammate under the bus with everyone pointing to Jenna Shabrolowski. That is her second. But with that depth, I don't think Central worries too much about their fouls. That's going to be Luckert converting. And hitting again. You see these nice rims of a college court, soft on those touches.
Yeah, they've been very kind to most of the shots this half.
There's a double on Sweatland, but again, breaking through with the hesitation dribble, but then unable. You'd like to see her just kind of come to a jump stop there and maybe make a little bit better of a pass. She gets back on defense great, though, against Coffey. And it looks like a carry on Coffey, yeah. When you have 3 referees watching you, I'm not sure you're going to get away with that one.
No. The Central went to only one of their original 4 posts in the game right now, probably a response to the pressure by Londonderry.
I think also Londonderry going a little smaller as well. That's Goudreau. Coffey on the drive. Coffey kind of trying to take over a little bit here, but 2 turnovers in the last 2 possessions. And Coach Theos is going to take her out of the game, probably talk to her a little bit about moving the ball on offense. There's that 1-2-2 pressure. Central getting the ball in the middle, but kind of running into each other. It's 1 minute left here in the first half. There's Sydney Richards on the miss. She also is a streaky shooter. Nice catch. A miss and a couple of rebounds there by number 22, Shannon Sonia. That's a good job sticking with it. This is her first time into the game and already getting 2 quick offensive boards and now a couple of free throws. Gotta like that as a coach. Someone coming in off the bench, probably for the foul trouble Tara Burke, and getting some offensive boards and then maybe hitting a couple of free throws. There's one. In for Central, we have LaCroix and Angelique Gala-Kulandi.
It's a
I don't want to
great
say
effort.
that too many times.
Yeah.
And there's the second one. 45 seconds left on the clock, and Central turns it over. You know, Angelique, talented player, freshman though, so you got to imagine there's some decision-making that's going to go on that might be a little nervous decision-making as a freshman.
Especially when trying to do ball control and breaking a press. It's a tough position for her to be successful in.
There aren't very many freshmen who are going to be able to come in this stage, and that's a nice job by LaCroix stepping up, and that's the second time that they've gotten an offensive foul call. That's great help defense on Central's end.
Yeah, I'd say she was definitely there, but then began to backpedal. I kind of like them not calling it at first, but don't have too many qualms with the call as is.
There's LaCroix hesitating, but intercepted by Luckert. Any long pass looks like Londonderry is able to pick off in the 3-quarter court, but then a quick turnover off that. As much as you want to encourage that pass, I often think off a steal, you got to take it to the rim as hard as you can. Allow your teammates to adjust while the defense is not adjusting, and then pass it off if you have to. A long pass often is just a recipe for a turnover. There's LaCroix looking to Gala-Kulandi, who's going to get the free throws. she looks like she has the ability to play in the low block and make some post moves. That's catching it kind of just above the block and gets a good look, unable to make the layup, but she'll go to the line for 2.
She did a nice job absorbing that contact and still getting a decent shot off.
I agree. Misses the first. Central 1 of 4 from the line. Misses that as well. Londonderry gonna play for the last shot here. 6 shots. Lucker calling for the pick, doesn't get it. Dishes it off, and that's gonna be another Central foul. That's a good job by Lucker. Driving, drawing the defense, dishing it to her teammate there, Noelle Lambert, who's able to get a good layup look and go to the line for 2 and only leave 1.8 out on the clock.
Yeah, it feels like Londonderry has made the necessary adjustments to seek that contact as Central's defense is jumping more times than not down low.
That's a bucket for Lambert and another Londonderry free throw. So after only going 4 of 7, they've hit their last 5 free throws, which has really allowed them to extend this lead to a 3-point lead. Come back and extend it. Misses that one. And time should have probably already run out, but they did not start the clock on that initial touch. So at halftime, we have Londonderry 24, Central 21. No one really dominating the scoreboard on either end, as we have widespread scoring from both the 9 players of the Central Little Green and the 6-7 players that have played on Londonderry. Rustin, any first half impressions?
I think Londonderry, I mean, obviously having a 3-point advantage, but has the overall offensive advantage as most of their attempts have came from down low and inside, and finishing there. I'm pretty sure that only Central has 3 baskets actually in the paint, and 2 of them coming off of a hesitation drive by their point guard.
I like their adjustment on defense. After giving up 15 first quarter points, only allowing 6 in that second frame.
Yeah, that was a fantastic adjustment, and as you saw, it went to a quicker lineup. Was able to do that with foul trouble on their main post. It was interesting to see that adjustment and being successful with it.
Going to be an interesting third quarter. Londonderry averaging well over 50 points a game. I expect to see that pressure and then getting some turnovers off it. Only scoring 8 in the first quarter, but then coming back to score 16 in the second. I believe that will probably be more of the continuation that they go on as they adjust throughout this basketball game.
Yeah, once they can establish that confidence to be able to score at a higher pace, that's just going to fuel them in the second half, especially escaping what could have been a potential game changer in, was it 33?
Yes.
33 getting foul trouble. I like Londonderry coming out of the half here.
I was going to ask you, okay, so if you're Coach Theos here going into the Londonderry locker room, what's one thing you're telling your girls they need to improve on for the second half?
I would say, not say improve, but do something that they did well, which was when they get into the post, if it's not there and they start doubling, kick it out. They hit a couple jumpers off of that sheer thing alone, and if you can over-rotate the defense to find those openings, they should continue to see success.
I'm going to say that if I'm the Central coach, I'm telling his team, breaking down the pressure a little bit, telling them a couple of different looks to seeing if maybe once they break the pressure, if they slow down a little bit on offense, take care of the basketball, and do what they did in the first quarter well, which is move the basketball and take open looks rather than rush the ball up the floor, have turnovers or a quick first shot.
I'd completely agree. It was the tempo of the game. They controlled it in the first 4 minutes. They didn't in the last 12.
We're going to take a short break here, see if we can get some halftime statistics and report back live from SNU for the second half. Just a reminder, this is Castle Hill Media Sports, specializing in recruiting videos. We are back live at Southern New Hampshire University for the 2-versus-3 matchup, Londonderry versus Central. Starting the half, we have Londonderry basketball. Londonderry up by 3. Londonderry going with the same 5 starters they started the game with, including the Tara Burke, number 33, who's in foul trouble with 3 fouls. Central staying with their man-to-man, but having some exaggerated help by the post players, but Conroy still able to convert. That's a Londonderry turnover. Excuse me, that was Kate Balcom on the last one. That shot was by Luckert, no good, and a rebound by Soares. We got Burke and Luckert both on the ground, got tied up with each other. But Londonderry still stayed in the matchup. Central basketball.
Usually we don't see a stoppage on that, but it did look like one of the players possibly hurt her head. It ended up being just her ankle, but the way she was acting, it looked like a head thing.
There's Velez, finds Vincent. Remember, Vincent started off the game with a couple of good shots. There's Shabrowski with another offensive rebound. Hands it to Vincent, can't convert, and Londonderry rebounds. There's Central coming out, starting again with a quick shot, but able to get the offensive board. But again, I would like them to work the ball a little bit.
Yeah, they're not finding as good at angles as they were in that first quarter.
Remember, Burke has 3 fouls, and that almost looked like a 4th offensive foul. She's unable to make the lay-in. Central rebound. I think she expected some sort of call there, got none, continued, was unable to convert. That's going to be an over-the-back call on Sweatland. Brittany Roach, good job finding the basketball on that rebound. And we got Lancer basketball. There's Roach. Finding Balcom, who finds Coffey. Coffey looking to get hot in this game. There's a screen. Gets the shot off, but it's going to be tipped. Coffey really just needs an inch of space, and she's able to get the shot. But the length of Central on the defensive end, able to step in and get a block. We got Luckert looking for someone on the inbounds. Finds the shooter Coffey, who gets a good look. Unable to make that. And we got Vincent out running here. She has the ability to pull up as well. Finds Velez, who sees her target, but unable to make it. And we got Sweatland on the rebound. But then a quick turnover as Luckert steps in. Luckert really does a great job of kind of stepping from behind people to get those steals. And then we have a Londonderry turnover. Looks like Burke and Balcom weren't sure who was going to take that one. We have a Londonderry timeout.
This up and down tempo really plays in the hands of Londonderry. While talented post for Central, they definitely don't have necessarily the same athleticism that can match up running up and down with the likes of Burke.
Wonder if Coach Theos is just trying to tell his team to value the basketball a little bit and maybe give him a couple of looks or redraw up his offense, as there's a little bit of a miscommunication going on right now off of those screens. Luckert looking to pass to somebody, no one looking to receive the ball.
And also another chance to set up his pressure that was so successful in that second quarter.
One of the things that Coach Wenners over on the Central bench, he's very good at saving his timeouts until deep in the game, and if they can keep it close, he does have some tricks up his sleeve. I've seen him use them, and he still has only used, I believe, 1 timeout. Oh, excuse me, he's used no timeouts. Both the timeouts so far in the game have been called by Londonderry. Roach switching to the front of this press. This is she's on the top of the 1-2-2, probably trying to get the length out. Does a decent job moving her feet. Now she's on the wing. Londonderry looks like they're in more of a man-to-man setup now. Different look than their typical zone. There's Shabrowski. Passes to Sweatland at the top. Got Soares looking to screen. Gets the ball on the wing. You see that a lot. You see these Londonderry posts really step outside. And Soares showing why that's okay as she hits the 3-pointer.
Well, she hit an elbow jumper in the first half, so exhibiting that range.
Central not being back in this game for a couple years. Christiana Bacolas, who just graduated from Bentley, very, very good point guard. When she was in her junior and senior year at Central, I believe that they were here. But since then, you know, they've been a middle of the pack team. So you gotta think this is This is a good chance for them coming in as a 3 seed to potentially go back to the final, especially with a pretty young lineup. Central with only 2 seniors, Vincent and Soares, both starters, but as we said, their bench going about 4 deep, tells you that this team is going to be making a name for itself in the next couple of years. They have a great group of sophomores. Their JV team plays hard, well coached over there. Got number 3, that's Conroy. And it's going to be tipped and back to Londonderry basketball. We got number 22 for Central, Amanda Goudreau back in the game for Soares. Soares, after hitting the long 2, comes out. Londonderry looking to the post and then back outside. Misses the 3, but we have a rebound by Conroy, who feeds it back to Luckert, who crashes the offensive board and then makes the lay-in. That's good teamwork by Londonderry. And there's athleticism by Balcom getting her hands on that, and that's where that Londonderry pressure really comes in handy. They have 4 players on the floor who are about the same size and athleticism, and that's hard to beat. And we got Luckert again, not having a great first half, but really that's 2 quick buckets in a row, and I like the timeout call here by Coach Wenners.
Yeah, it had to be done. We haven't seen a Central shot come up until Soares hit that 2 or 3. It's the black line and the gray line on this court. I'm pretty sure it's the gray line that's high school length, right?
You may be correct. So I believe that was a 3-pointer, a 2-pointer if we're playing college ball.
Right.
But that is not the case, despite the atmosphere.
And that can throw off a pretty consistent shooter. If I saw in that last 3 that Londonderry took, they were behind the black line. It's a visual thing, and you just naturally look down to see where you're at. And typically you're shooting 3s 1.5 feet, 2 feet longer than you'd want to.
And it's pretty hard to see that gray line.
Yeah, the shading wasn't a great choice.
Inbounding the ball here to Goudreau, back to Vincent. Goudreau taking the lay-in, takes a reverse layup, but misses. That's a good job. Good out of a timeout, come down, get to the rim, stop with the clock, and get a couple of quick free throws.
And they can throw those high passes with those long reach from all 5 positions on Central.
Got Goudreau hitting a free throw. It's the first of the half for either team. She hits the second. Central only shooting 5 free throws in the first half. Londonderry basically doubled that. There's Luckert. Remember, she hit the last 2 baskets for Londonderry. That's a great athletic take, but a nice block by Little Green. And we have Velez coming out and Gala Kulandi coming in. That's going to be a turnover by Londonderry. Luckert upset at Roche after that. They're going to stay in that pressure. LaCroix able to get open. Quick feet gets by the first part of this defense, keeps her dribble alive, but then turns it over. That's where great ball pressure comes in handy.
Yeah, they didn't allow her to turn to see the wide open person on the other side.
Balcom launches it up. Balcom is just so athletic and fun to watch. You'd like to see what she could do if she had a little bit more size. Out of bounds, that's going to be Londonderry basketball.
Central's starting to get more opportunities to try and tie this up, but they just cannot convert recently.
Roach misses the long range, but a rebound by Luckert. Six touches for Londonderry and 5 people touching at that time. We got Luckert, misses the 3. Rebound knocked around by Central, but they're able to come up with it. Central really looking for Galakulandi in that transition, but unable to catch the basketball. That's twice in a row. It's going to be a foul on Sydney Richards as Luckert's going to go to the line for 2. What do you think of the refereeing so far in this game?
You know, they shift gears, it seems like. It's same in the first half. In the beginning of the initial period, they're kind of letting it go a little bit, see some contact happening, and then they kind of amp up as the game goes along. We saw all the time back home, refs tend to also sense the moment as well as players, and sometimes like to make a name for themselves.
Luckert making 1 of 2, extending the Londonderry lead to 5. It's their ties the biggest lead of the game. It's going to be a foul on Roach. Not sure I saw that one, but again, as you just said, kind of tightening it up in this latter part of the third quarter.
Oh, and that's 4 on Roach.
Somehow I let that slip by.
Yeah, I wasn't aware she picked up her 3rd.
She's a key offensive part for Londonderry. Central attacking. Swetland's going to drive. No call on that. Richards for 2. She misses. Rebound by Goudreau. Puts it back in, and good. I think Goudreau's got great size, nice soft touch, 5'10". I think she's underrated here for the Little Green. Last year, I remember her scoring a ton of points as a sophomore. That's going to be a hand check call. Really tightening it up here in the beginning of this, or end of this quarter. Just a reminder, Londonderry is playing without their leading scorer and top post player, Ashley Berube, out with what I believe is a torn ACL and MCL, sitting on the bench there. Got a screen. Luckert hesitates, keeps her dribble alive. That's going to be an offensive foul. LaCroix stepping in to take one. That's the 3rd offensive foul that Central stepped in and take. I got to talk to Coach Winters about what he's doing to teach his kids to step in there and take it.
Probably some sort of food bribery.
I tried that. It didn't work. I tried scratch tickets.
That's right, yes.
Maybe I shouldn't admit that on...
Yeah, that might work.
Richards dribbling through a double team. Got to appreciate that hustle by Balcom, who just dives on the floor, goes completely for the ball, gets ball, and it's just an unbelievable hustle play. Self-sacrifice, diving in there, trying to get the ball. It's a 3-point game with 1:30 left in the third. Londonderry is starting off this quarter with a quick lead, but give Central credit, calm, cool, and collected, they're able to stay in it. Got a sideline play. Inbound the ball to Swetland. That's a sideline play I'd do too.
Nice.
Okay, looks like we're going back to our spread screen and roll here. There's Goudreau rolling. Sydney Richards. This has elements of the Stanford triangle offense. Kind of the basic structures of it with a spread pick and roll.
Something they keep going to is that high screen and roll down. Almost would like to see a little bit more low post feeds. I think you mentioned it earlier this game. And try to get your post a little bit work. See what they can do with some pump fakes and some jabs.
I'd like to see some variations out of this offense. I think it's kind of repetitive, and I've seen them do it a lot. I think, good coaching by Londonderry would make the adjustment easy on the defensive end.
Sure.
40 seconds left. You'd like Central to get a bucket here to kind of bring this game within 1 or even maybe tie it up. Maybe get 1 shot, not let Londonderry have another possession. LaCroix to Goudreau, who drives. Looked like they got tipped. And that's another steal by Londonderry. Londonderry really just getting a ton of steals from their defensive pressure. But then LaCroix right back at it. Look how fast she is. That's going to be a quick foul call. And crucial there is that stops the clock, gives Central the ball back, and allows them to run a play with still 12 seconds left. Great effort by LaCroix.
Yeah, and the defense seeing that speed and motion, trying to anticipate it, but the quickness was just there, and it ended up being a block instead of a charge.
Central ball.
That's elongated stack motion.
They just get it into the point guard, and then they set right up in their spread. Gives it Richards, a shooter. We're going to have Richards on the drive. Tries to throw it up, no call. And Vincent unable to grab the ball to get another shot off. Credit to Londonderry for really digging in for that last 12 seconds, not allowing a shot. We're going to go into the fourth period. Londonderry leading by 3, 31-28. Very low scoring game. Good defense on both sides. What do you think?
You know, now's the time to, I mean, yeah, they're going back and forth on each possession, but I wouldn't mind seeing some variance on either side right now. Just to maybe catch them a couple possessions, get a 2-point advantage here or there. Or they're going to slug it out for another quarter, and it's going to be entertaining.
That's where I agree with you. I was watching some college basketball the other day, and I was trying to see what the ratio of set plays were versus motion. And I think, you know, it's good to have a standard motion, especially in high school girls basketball.
Yeah.
But I think having a couple of quick hitters where if you're Central right now, you come out, you run a quick hitter that you haven't shown this game yet and get a quick bucket, that could really help change the energy. And then you can go back to your regular motion, and now that you switched it up a little bit, might allow for that regular motion to create those looks you're used to.
Yeah, exactly. Your previous possession set up your next possession. And if you're going to do, you know, pound home the same thing over and over, they're going to anticipate that on the further possessions, which could limit your success.
So we're going to start in the stack. We're going to inbound here to Shabrolowski. And then Richards gets the ball back. Looks like they're going to stick with the pick and roll. Richards driving. She's unable to get the shot. Delakalani on the rebound. She's going to go to the line for 2. It's going to be a Londonderry foul on number 21, Kelsey Coffey. Coffey been quiet in this game. I've seen her light up for 20, 24 points when she gets that shot going. Londonderry, Central's length may be a factor in that. Misses that one.
Definitely a kryptonite of Central in this game, the free throw line. Oh, banks it home.
That's her first bucket of the game and first free throw. She's 1 for 4 from the line. Brings it within 2. Lockhart spreading it out. This is the first time I've seen number 5, Becca Carroll, in the game for Londonderry. She's a senior. That's Tara Burke. She finishes and 1.
She seemed very driven on that play. Nothing was going to stop her, despite the attempts of 32 on Central.
Again, every time she's going to block a shot, she has gotten called for a foul call. She reaches her arm in, and I think with those long arms and big hands, she doesn't need to do that. I think if she just stood straight up and learned some discipline, expect that in the next couple of years, Coach Winters will iron that right out.
Right, especially in girls basketball, the release point is not as high, and so you can usually just go play straight up and make sure to box out as you do.
That's going to be out of bounds. The rare occasion where there's a rope in front of the net, and that's going to, the hoop's not going to count, and it's going to be Central basketball. I like the way Londonderry denies this in. If I'm Central, I'm sending those 2 back players long more so that you don't have all the defenders in one area.
Yeah, curl to opposite sides could really be open and give the inbounder a nice wide target.
Plus, you're kind of feeding into the Londonderry pressure by stacking everybody kind of together.
Exactly.
But they're able to get it in relatively easily. And that's going to be a Londonderry foul on the senior, Becca Carroll.
Next foul by Londonderry, we get Central into the bonus.
There's the stack, Vincent getting the basketball. She looks like a basketball player. She's got nice long arms, long legs, good bounce in her step. She is a senior, though, not sure what she plans to do next year. That's going to be a Central turnover. Richards looking to kick it back out to the shooter, but just not connecting in the right spot. This is a key possession for Londonderry. It's a 4-point game. It's a lot different than a 6-point game, especially in the 4th frame. Central showing a little packed in man-to-man. Londonderry really moving the ball well. A lot of players touch the basketball in a single possession. Luckert pulling it out, trying to really get a good look. Kicks it out for 3. That's no good. But a rebound by Tara Burke, who's really in this 4th quarter done a great job. There's Luckert on the basket.
Good find for Burke after fighting for that rebound, able to see her teammate on the backside block.
And there's Coach Winters calling his 2nd timeout of the game, and it's a 6-point Londonderry lead. I believe we went into this quarter, Londonderry up 31-28, and so far they've outscored 4-1.
I think for Central's offense, we're seeing the same pattern where they had 13 turnovers in the first half, and they shot 42.9% from the field. So when they actually get a shot up, they have success, and that's when they were maintaining the lead. But as those turnovers keep mounting up, you know, they have less of a chance to get back into this one.
Absolutely. All right, sticking with the same press break. It has been working. They have been getting the ball in. Ball to Sweatland, that's exactly who you want to get the ball into. That back dribble against the double team is crucial, especially against Londonderry's pressure. There's LaCroix finding Sweatland, who drives a nice dish to Velez, who's unable to make the short 2, and that's going to be a Londonderry rebound. That was a great look, but a tough miss for Velez. Velez not having a great offensive night, although she is a strong offensive player for Central. She's been a little bit in foul trouble, hasn't been able to get in a rhythm. There's the senior, gives it to the sophomore, Coffey, who finds Luckert. I like Luckert's patience here, really trying to work the ball, get a good look. Couple of screens, pull-up jump shot, no good. Nice job by Sweatland coming up with that. She's going to attack. Remember, Coffey's got 4. They're going to call that on Coffey, even though Burke really had that good positioning. That's going to be Coffey's 3rd foul.
They've been pretty consistent about on blocks seeing that body contact. Not something we necessarily saw throughout the season, but with these 3 roughing crews, able to see those angles.
There's Sweatland making that one. Central 1 of 5 from the free throw line in the first half. So far 4 of 5 in the second half. See if they can keep that going for the remaining 5:26. They are in 1-1 now. Sweatland hitting both. 4-point game. Key free throws by Sweatland. See if maybe they can get a defensive stop here. Coffey, as we mentioned, streaky shooter, unable to find a rhythm so far today. Londonderry really spreading the ball around the perimeter. Look at LaCroix's on-ball defense. Low, aggressive, moves her feet well, doesn't reach in. She's doing a great job on Luckert. There's Burke, and Soares, another foul. Those post players is Central. They're in position, but they're just unable to stay with the speed of the Londonderry first step that all these players are able to do. They attack quickly.
Right, and if they would not rise up on those initial pump fakes, that might give them the little bit of advantage they need to stay in front. But it's true, the athleticism from players like Burke are just, it's too much to match up for them.
It's hard because Londonderry is a good shooting team, but you got to see that throughout this game, they've really tried to penetrate most of the game. So even on my closeout, maybe I'm not closing out as tight on the shooters, extending my arm, but not really closing out super close. Great hustle by Sweatland off the miss by LaCroix, but Londonderry comes up with the basketball. Luckert finds Burke, top of the key. Back out to Luckert. There's Coffey. She'll shoot that. And miss. Coffey, tough shooting day. That's a good look for her. I'm telling you, she is a very, very good shooter. Just not getting the luck on those rolls today. There's Goudreau. Excuse me, that's Vincent. That's a three-pointer by Vincent. That makes it a one-point game with 4 minutes left. That's going to change the tempo and the energy in Central's favor. Central gets a stop here. That's a good defensive play, but Burke really coming up huge in this fourth quarter. Huge. She usually plays sort of a secondary role in the starting lineup for Londonderry behind Berube, but this fourth quarter, she's really been great. There's LaCroix, jump stop, finds Swords. Remember, she hit a long one before. She's going to miss that. That's going to be a Luckert rebound. And that's a good no call. I don't think she traveled. I think she's dribbling on her way down. I think she secured the ball once she landed and then made a pass up. Plus, it probably could have been a foul call. Those Central fans looking for the travel, but.
Right, you could have gone either way, and I like that he stayed in the middle and did nothing.
There's a screen. A lot of screen and rolls in this game, but not seeing a lot of people hitting the roller. It's a tough thing to do, especially with defenders who really can get up on these guards, and a lot of switching of screens. But there's Burke again in the middle. That's going to be a hand check, but unable to get the roll on that one. Burke's really going to that fade a lot, this little kind of like a little hook shot, and having some luck with it, getting to the free throw line a lot, using that with the shoulder to kind of separate herself from the defender, able to launch it and still get the foul call. She's going to shoot 2. Makes the first. Now we've got junior number 22, Amanda Goudreau, in the game for number 54, Mary Soares.
I like the substitution because it seemed like needed a little bit more athleticism to guard Burke's inside game.
I agree. And Goudreau also a great offensive threat. So we have a 5-point game with 2:55 left. LaCroix bringing the ball up. She's going to, nice crossover dribble. I don't know about that double dribble call, but it's going to be a Londonderry basketball. That's a tough one.
The ball was bobbled, but there's no stoppage of dribble. Like it was just tipped off the fingertips.
That's going to be Londonderry timeout. Coach Wunner's arguing that one in a nice way. He's going to get a little bit of an explanation. Coach Wunner's a stand-up guy, I got to say. I've had multiple conversations with him. He teaches his players how to be well-behaved, sportsmanlike, calm, just as he is, and really, instilling in these kids confidence and discipline, and credit to him. With schools like Central, the kids aren't all playing together since they were little. They come from multiple different feeder schools, and when you get them, they're all at different stages in their development, both emotionally and athletically. And to be able to take a group of kids and kind of have them look like they do here without ever being in the finals in the last couple of years is a credit to his character. I know he serves as a athletic director as well as a guidance counselor at Central, so maybe that guidance background kind of playing a role. And as well as I do how much in girls basketball being able to connect and understand them emotionally plays into it.
Yeah, he definitely seems well suited for the job anytime we go there. Hospitality is great, and kudos to him and actually Londonderry too. This game's been well contested without getting too chippy or no dirty play.
And Coach Theos, in his first year here as a Londonderry head coach, although he's been on the bench with Coach Fagula forever, and he was coaching the JV team for a while. I remember back in my day when I was coaching JV over at Bishop Girton, played the Londonderry JVers a few times, and they were always aggressive and talented. So for Central, we do have that kind of athletic guard play. That looks like a travel. We're going to get a no call, and that's going to be a block. Having her hands straight up. I agree with that. Although she's kind of moving and doing a decent job of not reaching, she still kind of leaned in with the body and didn't lock her feet in place. So we've got Soares and Shabrowski checking back in the game. Soares is going to come in this time for Velez, so that's going to leave Goudreau on the floor. So we have Soares, Goudreau, Vincent, Swetlin, and Shabrowski for Central. And for Londonderry, we have Burke, Coffey, Luckert, Noelle Lambert, and Kate Balcom. Very well matched up teams with athletic and size. Keeping her dribble, getting to the basket, that's no good. Tipped around by Londonderry, but they are able to come up with the rebound. Shabrolowski has the length and athleticism, but Luckert's able to dribble it by, and then makes a questionable pass, but luckily teammate Noelle Lambert's able to catch it. Central really extending their pressure out. Looks like they're going to foul. I don't mind this. They're trying to double, potentially get some turnovers, and if not, maybe get a foul call.
Yeah, with 6 of this level, you can usually see this type of methodology happening earlier than like waiting for the last 30 seconds or something. And
absolutely, especially 5-point game.
Yeah.
And able to bring some people off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
But Lambert able to convert. That's going to make it a 2-possession ball game with just under 2 minutes to go. That's a miss, and that's going to be out of bounds off Londonderry. Nice call over there by the referee. He was part of the refereeing crew that did the the quarterfinal game, Winnicott at Bedford. We've got Swetland bringing the ball up on the drive, able to control. And we got the Central fans dislike that call. It's going to go back to Londonderry.
No, I was waiting for that leak out. Yep.
And they go to the basket, and they're able to hit it. It's going to be a 6-point game at the minute 40. Central really feeling the pressure now. Swetland pulling it out. Looking for Goudreau. Can't find it, gets the swords on the top. Goudreau's pass to her. That's the first time we've hit that rolling cutter in a while. And Goudreau able to get the shot off, but cannot convert the lay-in.
Yeah, good ball skills there by Soares, finding that extended area where she's looking for her shot, but then was able to adjust and find the roller.
Soares is listed here as 5'8", but I'm pretty sure she's a lot taller than that. There's a free throw by Goudreau. I remember standing next to her when she started and shaking her hand in our game, and I'm 5'8.5", and she was towering over me, so.
Right.
All right, so we got Velez and Richards checking back in. Richards is a 3-point threat, and LaCroix coming back in as well. So we have LaCroix, Swetland, Goudreau, Velez, and Richards. That's going to be Central basketball. Although I think it was already out of bounds before Coffey saved it. I believe it was going to be a Londonderry ball, but on those too close to call, tight game, I agree. Londonderry is going to call a timeout. 7-point game, Londonderry up 7 with 1:23 to play.
I think we're definitely in store for an elongated finish here. It's a 7-point game, but 123 with 4 timeouts remaining combined between the two teams, and both teams in bonus.
And expect Coach Wenners to use those as soon as they score a basket, because remember, clock's not going to stop. Rustin, that's what you love to do. You love to wait till they score the basket, then call the quick timeout.
Absolutely. My team, your team, usually pressure's our best weapon. So it's always good to be able to collect their attention and then be able to apply that pressure and hopefully turn that 1 basket timeout into 3 baskets.
All right, here we go, out of bounds play. Get the ball into Swetland. Gives to Sydney Richards. If Central delayed those screens a little bit, I think these shooters would be able to get some better looks. That's going to be a turnover by Velez. And then a steal. I'm not sure what was going on there. It looks like Sydney Richards kind of got tied up with Kelsey Coffey. They're going to have a foul against Richards. Not sure if they're going to count the basket.
It also looked like she was preventing her from falling almost more than a hold.
So it looks like the basket's going to be no good. It's going to be an intentional foul. Excuse me, it's just going to be a on-the-floor foul, but because that is Central's 10th they're going to shoot 2. Coffee is a very good free throw shooter.
I think that's a tough interpretation. I don't know if that was actually the intent of what was happening.
I agree. Coffee hits that one. It's a 8-point game, minute 7. It's a 3-possession ball game. And as I mentioned, Coffee, a very good shooter. She'll hit both those. So although not having the best offensive night, she does hit 2 key free throws down the stretch. Central basketball, down 9, a minute left to play. You'd like to see some tight screens for a couple of good shots, but Central remaining its typical patient offense. But would have liked to see a little more of this in that second period. Londonderry doing a great job around these screens. Nice duck around by Shabrolowski, unable to hit it. Swetland another rebound, gives to Shabrolowski. Someone on Londonderry got hit in the head on that play. Luckert, who's been on the floor a couple of times tonight, I think she got hit in the head with a basketball. That'll shake her up for a minute. I think technically if she gets hit in the head like that, they're gonna take her out of the game. The end of this game showing what that emotional tie that kind of comes in.
It's a well-earned standing ovation for Luckert. She had a heck of a game, and really controlled the Londonderry offense.
I also have to say on the defensive end, her pressure is just huge. So Central still fouling, down by 9 with 30.4 seconds left to go. You know, sometimes at the end of the game when there's a lot of free throws taken, if you're not at the actual game, the end of game score does not accurately reflect the battle that's taken place here today.
Oh, that's exactly right. Even right now it's a 9-point game, but it's really felt like a 1 to 2 point game with how these teams have just slugged it back and forth.
Londonderry getting to the line 21 times and making 16 of them. Quick basket by Swetland, and there's that timeout I said that I anticipated Wenners would call. So 17 of 21 for the line for the Lancers, and Central only getting to the line 12 times and making 7 of them. So that's a huge difference. That's 10 more free throws that Londonderry made. And 9 more free throws that Londonderry took than Central. And although I wouldn't say that Londonderry's were a huge, free throws were a huge factor in this game. I mean, an 8-point game and the other team shot 10 more free throws than you. You got to go back to what we were talking about before, with Central shooting a lot from the outside and not getting as much interior looks as maybe they could, especially with Berube not in the game.
Right, it's exactly the style of offense, and I would almost say with Londonderry's half-court up pressure right at that half-court line, it really took them out of their pattern-based offense and took away a lot of what Central wanted to do.
I agree.
Look for probably a man-type pressure here. They realistically can't let this ball get inbounded. Otherwise, they're giving up 1 to 2 points probably on free throws.
Looks like Coach Wenners drawing up probably an offensive play for when they get the ball back, which hopefully they get the ball back. See if Londonderry does that same long pass play. Able to get into Luckert, who we're gonna get a foul call. Not sure that they were trying to foul on that, but referees giving him the benefit of the doubt and calling the quick foul. That's 4.4 seconds coming off the clock and an 8-point ball game.
Central implementing a fluid substitution for offensive defensive purposes.
So they go small for the defense, and then they're going to put in
Two shooters who hit outside shots, even if they are their natural posts.
Absolutely. I've been in one of these semifinal games as an assistant coach. The atmosphere is amazing. I love to see this many people in a girls basketball game in New Hampshire. It's going to be a miss by Londonderry. There's Goudreau. Vincent hits another three. 6-point game, 3 seconds left. Good job by Vincent, going out strong for her potential final game as a member of the Central Little Green. Really showing a long-range jump shooter that she is.
I know it's improbable, but this is the value of extending a game that early. Is now it's only a 6-point game. If they can get a 5-second call here and not take any time off the clock, hit an open three, he has that one more timeout in the pocket left to maybe force the exact same situation. I mean, now they have a chance instead of giving up early to where just forfeiting the game.
Absolutely. So I agree with you. Going to hit to fouling with 2 minutes left to go allows you to get a couple extra possessions. Although Londonderry has been decent from the free throw line, but only hitting one of their last 4. All right, let's see.
There she goes. Yep, there it is.
You're going to anticipate that long pass.
Yeah.
I mean, I might, if I'm Central, put someone on the ball so the pass can't be made. That's going to be Londonderry victory, 46-40. Outscoring Central 22-19 in the second half, but what a basketball game. 2 athletic teams with decent size and good shooting, and overall a pretty well-played game.
Yeah, there's nothing to hang their head about on either side here. Exactly right. This was a battle you'd expect from the 2 and 3 seed in this tournament.
Absolutely, and in Londonderry, this is their, this is what they've been doing. They've gotten to this game numerous times. They have the experience. These seniors have really played in multiple games here at SNU. And I tell you, once you play one game here, you want to just keep coming back. Because as I was mentioning before, the atmosphere, the fans, the size court, a couple of college scouts here I've seen before. Just really, really great for girls basketball in New Hampshire. And as a player, I can remember being in one of these games and just looking forward to it every single year, wanting to fight to get to it because it's just really exciting for your high school sports career.
Yeah, when you know that, a higher level plays in this arena that you're now playing at, it's just a unreal phenomenon to feel that and experience it, hopefully build it. And we see a lot of young players into the next few years, so you then the excitement of it wears away, and now you just expect to be here.
Who's your Londonderry player of the game, Rustin?
Wow, it was tough. At points, Tara Burke definitely, I think in that third quarter, swung this game around with her hard post takes, but you can't deny Jacqueline Luckhart's ball handling in this game and pressure, as you've mentioned.
I agree with you. Tara Burke in the fourth quarter was huge, but Luckhart throughout the game, aggressive defense, good job on the offensive end, really spearheading the Londonderry team tonight. And for Central, I've got to go with number 24, senior Caitlin Vincent, hitting some key free throws, key threes to start the game, and then a couple of key threes here in the fourth quarter. You got to applaud her for that.
I'd completely agree. And keep an eye on Sarah Swetland. As a sophomore, she probably had the most poise on that Central roster, and I'm excited to see her in this next 2 years.
I agree with you. I've been able to watch her kind of develop as a 7th, 8th, 9th grader through the AAU circuit, and really excited to see where her game takes off in the next couple of years. Yep. This is Courtney Cheatham and Rustin Hitchcock signing off from Southern New Hampshire University with a 2 and 3 game, Londonderry 46 and Central 40.